didn't watch the whole video through, but the last video, I'm aware that the audio is quite crap. Just bear with it, because what I'm saying is very important, you know. I'm joking. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to speak about the concept of healing and how what most people think healing isn't actually it. Now, give yourself a wee minute now and try and picture what healing is, like what you think healing is. Is it maybe things like singing again, listening to your favourite music and actually enjoying it, listening to happier music maybe, going outside more often, speaking with your sisters, brothers, friends more often, meeting up with family members, shopping, anything that seems more like happiness and exciting and beautiful maybe. Now, yes, all of that is part of healing because it shows you're getting better, you feel more comfortable to do these things that you once weren't able to, or maybe just didn't have the motivation or energy to. However, healing is not always beautiful and fun and exciting or just pure happiness. Healing can be quite ugly. Healing can be painful, ugly, horrible. But it's all part of the plan, baby. You need to go through it, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, because it helps you grow. It helps you a lot. Now, good little sort of example for you. When you think of a cut, a gash, maybe in your hand or your arm, when it first happens, it's incredibly painful. It's sore, can't bear it, it's just happened and it's really painful. That is your trauma. That's your trauma first happening. It could be anything, not even just trauma, it could be anything that's affected you really. It doesn't always have to be trauma that you need to heal from. You need to heal from everything really, not just traumatic events, everything you need healing from. Even if it's moving on from going to a new job can be quite difficult. Finding the motivation and the confidence, those are things that can be healed. But for now, just for easiness, we'll talk about trauma. So yes, your cut, your big gash is your trauma. And maybe you got bullied in high school, primary school, or nursery, or maybe from your own parents, or I don't know, maybe you saw a really sad film and you couldn't get over it. It could be anything. It's the gash on your wrist. When it first happens, it's incredibly painful. It's really sore, you can't touch it, yeah, it's horrible, it's really painful. Much like getting bullied in primary school. Getting bullied in school is really painful, especially when it's first happening. It's horrible. Horrible experience, much like it's a horrible experience cutting yourself. So, after a while, the cut starts to heal. Now, when you think about a cut healing, is it pretty? No, it is definitely not. What happens to a cut when it's healing? It starts to scab, maybe even bruise. Sometimes it leaks like pus and stuff like that, and it's gross. It's ugly, honestly. Same as emotional healing. Your brain needs to be healed, much like your cuts do. Now, I feel like I might have spoke about this on a previous video before when I had longer hair. About 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I can't remember when it was. A while ago now. But I think I spoke about how your mental health needs the same treatment as your physical health. But it doesn't, because we live in a society. But yeah, your mental health needs the same care, respect, and that's it really. As your physical health needs to be treated the exact same. Because your mental health can actually affect your physical health. Best proof of that is when you get spots. You get spots when you're stressed. Your hair falls out when you're stressed. What is stress? Mental health, mental problems. We're not going to say problems because that sounds mean. It's a mental block. Anyway, I keep getting off track. My apologies. Cut. When it's healing, bruises, scabs, leaks. It's gross. Much like your mental health. Now, the thing with mental health is healing isn't always noticeable. It's not like you can't look at someone and be like, oh yeah, they're healing emotionally, sort of thing. And like sometimes you can when you start to like maybe you've got a friend who's really really depressed and they're not enjoying their playing games anymore. They've not been online in ages, and then maybe you start seeing them again and they're really happy and they're talking about their interests again. And obviously that's like, oh, they've improved, but that's actually well after the healing stage, sort of thing. Like through healing is not gorgeous and as much like happy. It's not as happy as people make it to be. Healing includes a lot of crying, a lot of hurt. See what healing is? You actually have to rip open that wound sometimes. See, you got a plaster on the wound. You've got to take it off. You can't keep that there forever. You need to get it. You need to let it breathe. You need to let that cut breathe, so it can heal properly. Because it needs the air, needs oxygen to heal properly and be healthy. Because when it's kept in that plaster, it can gather bacteria, dirt, not getting cleaned, basically. Same as your brain, same as your mental health. You need to open that plaster. You need to open it. You need to speak about what's bothered you, and it will hurt. You will cry. You might relive the experience again, and it can be very traumatizing, even just talking about it. But it needs to happen because you need to heal from it. If you don't heal for it, then it'll be there forever, and it'll be really hard to do a lot of things. But yeah, so you need to open that plaster. Speak about it. You need to cry. It's okay to cry. It's actually amazing to cry. There's a million benefits to crying, actually. A little fun fact for you guys, but your tears, when you're crying, rub it on your face. I know this sounds really weird. If you rub it on your face, apparently, just trust me bro, apparently it's meant to help get rid of spots. Who knows? Anyway, crying is very healthy. It's a huge release. Whenever I cry, I'm always really daft after it and really like confident and motivated. I've cried tonight. I'm not joking, I have cried tonight, but I'm very in with it now, and I'm giving you guys advice. So cry, I recommend it, and don't try and keep the crying in, because you just get really tired and you feel even more depressed when you don't let yourself cry properly. So cry, speak about things. Relapsing, it happens. Don't hate yourself when it happens. Now, relapsing could be anything. It could just be, for example, I suffer with depression myself, and when I notice that things are particularly bad is when I can't do anything really. Like I won't switch the light on for the whole day unless I need to go out. Like I work at the moment, so say I've got a day off. When I know things have gotten bad, my days off, maybe I've got 2 days off in a row, both of them days are spent in my bed. And I don't leave, even just to go to the toilet. That's about as much as I could do, and even then sometimes I don't even let myself go to the toilet. And that's when I know I'm getting bad. And that would be me relapsing, because I think I'm healing as a person. I definitely am. I don't think. I definitely am. But yeah, that's when I know I've relapsed. But I know these feelings will pass and I'll get better again. But obviously it doesn't just happen by itself. I can do things to help myself without putting pressure on myself. That's one thing. Don't put pressure on yourself to do these amazing, outstanding things. Big thing with depression is you maybe can't tidy your room. I can't tidy my room. Currently, at the moment, I've got a big, huge pile of clothes. They're clean, but I've got a pile of clothes on the floor that are probably not going to move for another 2 weeks. But that's fine. That also doesn't mean I'm depressed, or sometimes I am just generally lazy. But if you're depressed and you can't tidy your room, for example, instead of setting a day, like say you've got a day off or the weekend after school, don't set yourself up to be like, this day I'm going to tidy my entire room. I do this and it never happens. I never tidy the whole room. So do it in small bouts. Maybe say to yourself, I'm going to clean this corner. Or if that is still too much, and that's fine if it's too much, don't beat yourself up for it. Love yourself. take care of yourself. If that's too much for you, maybe categorise it. So maybe you've got empty bottles in your room. I know for sure I definitely have about 1 million empty bottles in my room. I say empty, I've actually got 3 full bottles of water in my room, so get on my level. Anyway, yeah, so maybe you've got empty bottles in your room and you'll say to yourself, Friday, whenever, don't even set a time, just whenever on Friday, I'm going to pick up these empty bottles and put them in the bin. And you know what, maybe that'll ignite some motivation in yourself after you've put them bottles in the bin. You notice maybe your bin's a little bit full. You know what, I'm going to change that bin. And you do that. And then maybe you'll start doing other things. But again, if you don't have the motivation and you can only just put them bottles in the bin, that's fine. You've accomplished what you've set out to do. And again, even if you can't do the bottles, totally fine. Just look after yourself. Don't pressurise yourself to get better mentally, because it takes time and pressure will not help you. Anyway, I've got off topic again. I hope you're still listening to me. Anyway, healing is not super noticeable. It's not like a block line. Healing isn't just sort of, I don't know how the words I'm looking for here, but healing isn't just a thing. Healing is everywhere. Healing doesn't happen after like a year or whatever. You're constantly healing. There isn't a point where you're like fully healed either. Like something will bother you in the future. Like you'll still get stressed. You might get insecure about something that happened in your past. But healing is a very difficult, tricky thing to describe, but it's not beautiful. So when you do have moments where you're crying in your bed at night and you feel really alone, or you can't tidy your room, don't think to yourself that you're not healing, because like I said, crying is healthy. As well, actually, part of healing is knowing your limits, your boundaries, and what you need in the moment. So if you wake up one day and you're like, I can't do anything, my body just, I can't do it, my brain's not there, I'm not in it, I've got no motivation or energy. You see what the healing part of you would do? Just do whatever you feel like you want to do. Lie in your bed all day if you want. I will say though, sometimes lying in your bed does make you feel worse. If it's all you can do, do it. Because that's you caring for yourself. If you didn't have that self-love or that ability to know what you want in the moment, you'd force yourself to tidy your room and then you feel miserable. Or you'd force yourself to tidy your room, you'll start off getting on fine, and then the motivation will just totally disappear and you've got like a half messy room, half clean room, and you're like, I feel worse. Because I do that. You know what I should have just done in the first place? Lie in my bed and play Pokemon Go. And that would have made me happier than forcing myself to tidy my room. But as me saying this, I still need to do these things myself. I need to learn how to do it and accept myself. It's a mission. It is a bit difficult, but we'll all get there in the end. You just got to have sympathy and care for yourself. Imagine yourself as inner child work. Do inner child work. Imagine yourself as the younger version of you. Imagine like a 5-year-old you. Would you scream at your 5-year-old self or guilt 5-year-old self because they couldn't tidy their whole room? No, you'd be like, you know what, well done. You put a few things in the bin, have a break. That's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. Yeah, healing's not beautiful, but it can be at times. Don't get me wrong. There are moments where it is like, you feel really proud of yourself, where you're like, notice you're playing your favourite games again. Like, I for one, for example, have been playing, right, I know this is cringy guys, but I've been playing Fortnite. But I'm enjoying myself and I'm happy, and that's something that I've not done in years. I've not touched Fortnite in years, actually. Not years, a year. About a year. I actually have to thank my wee sister for that. She played with me and now I'm absolutely obsessed. But the fact that I'm able to play it by myself without the need of other people around me shows that I'm healing as well. So it's still good to hang out with people, but if you're able to have that enjoyment by yourself, even better. Anyway, I'm talking for too much. I'm talking way too much about the one thing. You get it. Healing's not beautiful. It can be. It's not concrete. It's everywhere. Let yourself cry. Let yourself rest. Don't force yourself, no pressure. Your mental health is the same as a cut. You need to let it scab over, and scabs are ugly.